Good evening, palettes and mercs. How are we doing today? So let's see here. I saw a little bit of the Black Ops, release today. Um, yeah, it looks like Black Ops is not going to be a thing this year, just at all. Hello there, Den, Philip, and Bash. Welcome in. Yeah, no, I had one look at the Call of Duty release today, and it's bad. It's really, really bad. Don't mind the background. It's just what I had available. So, I don't know. We may look through some of them, see if there's anything a little bit better for this. But honestly, I think it's kind of cool. But yeah, no, I had a look at the Black Ops trailer today, and or not the trailer necessarily, the footage for the campaign, and everybody was really excited for it. And then everybody just kind of went, what the hell are we playing? So much AI slop in the next Call of Duty, it's embarrassing. Not even that. Not even, right? It's not even that I'm concerned about. Like, you have a tier list, right? You have a tier list of things that just a hierarchy of bullshit, right? And you're just kind of sitting there, right? I'm looking at the final boss, because again, that's already been played. You're looking at you know how you had like Mendoza for the end of like Modern Warfare 3, the good one, by the way, not necessarily like Call of Duty Black Ops or whatever, or not the new one. Anyways, I can't think. I literally just got up like an hour ago. Haven't had enough coffee yet, for sure. But then there's it has this like Resident Evil boss. I'm not even kidding. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I just, I couldn't necessarily. Because I couldn't even necessarily believe it when I saw it. Let's see. Is there any images of it real quick? No, all I'm seeing is the awful looking characters, and like, these operators don't even necessarily look all that good either. Like, again, I'm just kind of looking at this and I'm going, we're just gonna retread like the same thing over and over again. Because again, I'm looking at the zombies, right? And that's usually the value proposition of like Black Ops to begin with, for me, right? Because ever since the campaigns fell off in like 2011, actually, not even. I think there were some good ones between then and there, but honestly, other than that, like, mostly it's been the survival mode, or like the survival modes, the special ops or zombies or anything like that. And I'm looking at the character roster for this one. You have Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, and Richtofen, right? And they just look so done. Like, I want you to have a look at this. I'm not one for usually showing off. I'm not usually one for like showing off footage like this. Hold on. I should probably get TikTok in on this, shouldn't I? But I want you to have a look at this real quick. So there's me. Hello. But then here's the zombie characters. So you have Dempsey over here, Nikolai, who just looks kind of dead in the eyes, if that makes sense. Like, none of these characters look like their badass selves from, like, Black Ops 2, even. Why is there a cropped water image in the corner? Oh, I swapped over from scene to scene. Hello. Yeah, it's a little... Basically, the way I had to record this, or, like, launch, or live stream it, it just, messed up a little bit. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, these characters look dead on the inside. Let me see if I can swap over from this one to, like, let's see, Black Ops 2. People are trying to get a petition for Black Ops 2 to get remastered, and I'm just like, I don't think I want that at this point. Although I have to say, Specs, I'm gonna be so for real. You give me Power Ranger vibes. Low key goes hard. Ooh, I can get behind that. I can definitely get behind that. Specs, welcome in. We're just chatting right now, but yeah, no contracts today. Yeah, we should go ahead and go live here on, yeah, we should go ahead and go live on TikTok as well. Can we get VTube Studio up there? Yes, please. So, like, fit this to screen, full screen. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull this all the way down. Let's see here. But yeah, I'm not sure if, I'm not entirely sure if I want... I'm not even sure if I really want a remastered version of Black Ops 2 at this point, because I'm just afraid they'll... I'm just afraid that they'll mess it up again, and it just... If they mess up my beloved DSR, because back in the day, I used to rock the DSR, and it was... I didn't go on to multiplayer much, right? But when I did, it was just with that DSR. I think it was the DSR, MTAR, and then the SVU. I got gold for that particular game. Let's see, just chat. Honestly, I don't really see like a... What if we just say IRL? Honestly, I don't think we're gonna get much there. Chat with Merc. There we go. Go live. There we go. But yeah, yeah, no, a lot of those characters for Black Ops 2 just look so dead on the inside. I went from... Hell is even this? Hold on. I want, again, Again, I need to show you this real quick. It's gonna mess up a little bit, but is this really, like, is this a soldier or like a spy or something? Like, again, I might not necessarily know the story, but oof, that's rough. It's like, don't get me wrong, she's hot, but like, I mean, you kind of have to have like a decent character to go along with it, and then you can like, and then you can start doing stuff like that. And the numbers, Bash, she's so hot, but she needs to be more than that. The fact is that, like, I'm looking at the Steam DB numbers, at least earlier, right? I saw 70,000 for Black Ops. So you're telling me that our creators, and Battlefield are beating it out just so bad. Like, you could even make a case for see, let's have a look here. Okay. I was a little bit wrong. At least the numbers are looking a little bit better. So if we have a look at the numbers, Call of Duty is sitting at 92,000 players right now. Now keep in mind, right, that's Call of Duty HQ, because Call of Duty is all like the last couple of games combined. And it is just, it's a little bit misleading, but I'm kind of intrigued by the other game that's beating it out. It's a game called Banana. I am not fucking joking. This is a game called Banana, and I can only assume it's one of those, if I remember correctly, this was like a meme game that you sell like bananas or something. Like, that wasn't necessarily the main like stay of the game, but like you farm bananas of various rarities and whatnot, and then you can sell them on the marketplace, that sort of thing. And it currently has 96,000 players. You have Source sitting at 97. You have Rust sitting at 172. Rivals at 128. The idle game, yes. Banana the idle game is beating out Call of Duty. And keep in mind, again, that's not one Call of Duty. That's all the Call of Duties. But the Banana game offers insane customization, so that's that. The Banana games offer bananas, right? Also, oh, Small Shadows, welcome in. Over on TikTok. Yeah, even PUBG. PUBG, mind you, which is an old-ass game at this point. Not that old, mind you, but I just, yeah. Like, let's see here. This came out back in I want to say 2016. PUBG is beating out. Steam Marketplace is quite the gray zone. Oh, it's not even gray, right? Like, we went way past gray and went into dark. The moment you hit CSGO sponsorships, right? The moment you start playing CSGO, your soul's already tainted. You have been marked for death, essentially, because a lot of those people will take those sponsorships because they get offered like millions of dollars to open CSGO cases and promote gambling to people. Expert over on Kick. You are in violation of the rules of engagement and will be subsequently removed from the comms. Please and thank you. Steam Marketplace is the black market, but for games. You see, it's like the good black market, though. It's like, it's some of those things. Mario, welcome in on TikTok. But yeah, it's like a good black market because they sit there, they do nothing, just except for quietly improve upon their craft. And then you get a bunch of CEOs to say, oh, well, they have a majority. And it's like, no, I don't necessarily believe that, right? Like, a case could be made that they have a majority, but I wouldn't say they have a monopoly over the PC industry because there's just so many damn launchers for the PC. It's insane. The CS market tanked with the latest update to enable trade-in of lesser quality skins for randomized better one. I saw that. There were a lot of people who, well, they're in a better place because of it. And I'm just kind of sitting there going, I get it. It's your livelihood. And like, if you're over in like Brazil, I get it, right? That's basically your livelihood. Because the reason Bananas has a lot of people who go through and like farm those things is because USD currency is higher than theirs currently. I don't know how true that's going to be at some point, but Matthew and Yo Boy on TikTok, welcome in. But yeah, I have a lot more sympathy for those sorts of people versus like, if you were just trading skins and hoping to become a millionaire, like, I'm not even dogging on you, right? Like, I get it. The hustle is real. But when your livelihood is one update away from being absolutely tainted, you might want to rethink your strategy there, Cotton, because one update and you get absolutely blasted. And again, I get it. If you want to go and trade skins and do whatever, that's fine. But as with all things entrepreneurial, these things can blow up overnight. So please don't rely on these things if you don't have to. Like, essentially, the number one rule of gambling, right? Well, first off, is to not gamble. I don't condone that. But if you do, at least make sure it's something that you're not going to risk losing. Joshua and C-Rom over on TikTok, welcome in. But at the very least, right, take care of yourself, right? That's all I can really say on that. Just like, take care of yourself. Make sure that you're not necessarily relying on these sorts of things because they can absolutely blow up. But like, the marketplace, will definitely always be a place for those sorts of like trades and whatnot. Tegan on TikTok, welcome in. Trophy Baby as well. Oh, there was a couple of things that happened over on Twitter. Not that I have Twitter, but YouTube is a gateway to many websites I wish never to actually have an account for. Reddit being one of them. Actually, I think I still have like an old Reddit account somewhere, but I digress. The CEO of Xbox took some flack. Philip something. Because he reached out to Steam over, well, not directly, but like he commented on one of the posts basically saying we at Xbox like value the idea that the Steam machine is like bringing another like quality experience to players with these sorts of games. Spencer, I think that's him. Yeah, give me 1 second. 3D Good Dreams, welcome in on TikTok. But yeah, no, he caught some flack for that, and people were like, "Oh, well, he's just kind of simping or like kind of undermining himself and Xbox." And I wanted to touch on that because I don't think enough people are talking about this. My theory will always stand that I think that Xbox is not trying to sell hardware anymore at all. They are trying to get out of that game, and their actions prove that. Xbox is going from a hardware-based experience to a cloud-based experience. And the way they... And again, Xbox, like Microsoft, fucked up the transition. At this point, they were too early to try to push that. And like, you have things like Shadow PC, but again, the last time that Xbox tried this, or like Microsoft tried this, this was Stadia. And if you kind of notice, type over on TikTok, welcome in. Phil Spencer. Yeah, that's the CEO, all right. And if you notice, they kind of let Stadia die a little bit because that was their test run for a cloud-based service. Because Stadia was not supposed to be the one that brought cloud gaming into the future. Lamar on TikTok, welcome in. Yeah, they were not supposed to be the ones that bring that brings cloud gaming into the future. Xbox was. You can see it in their marketing, you can see it everywhere, and nobody's talking about it. And mainly because I think everyone's just confused on what the hell they're doing, right? Because it doesn't make sense for a hardware-based company to transition as quickly as they did from hardware-based consoles, which, again, they're still trying to sell their new console at, like, over $1,000 for, like between a PC and, like, Xbox hybrid. Because, again, they're not trying to sell hardware. They're trying to sell a cloud-based experience through Game Pass. And they're trying to do it by pricing out people from that sort of like hardware market, which was not the move at all. You are not going to force a bunch of people to change their minds via negative pressure like that. You have to have good incentive for people to want to switch over to like almost like minimal or no hardware whatsoever. Which is why I think the, again, either way around it, the Steam machine is going to be the, I think it's going to be the, like, new gaming console of the, like, I would say that it's going to be the standard moving forward, up until we move over to cloud gaming. Because as long as the price is good, and again, caveat is there, you have less physical hardware to actually deal with, and you can just game based off that. CEO Natalie keeps talking about Xbox as a product, says a lot about the games, says a lot about it, but the games themselves. Again, I don't necessarily know if even they know what the hell they're doing, but generally from what I'm seeing, they're trying to move over from a hardware-based company to a software or like cloud-based gaming. Which again, they've tried before with Stadia, but it's just not going to work out in their favor as much. Like, I think again, and a good example of this would be Stadia. But also, if you go to the parent company, Microsoft, around 2007, I want to say, about the time when the iPhone released, Microsoft had just came out with the Zune, which was a good, like, alternative to the iPod at the time. Again, a little late. Wolfgang over on TikTok, welcome in. Which is, again, a good alternative to the iPod at the time. But again, they either way too late or way too early for those sorts of products to exist, right? Because at the time, they're transitioning over into a new market at that point. Unlike current consoles, Steam machines isn't locked and can be installed with optional OS if the user so chooses. Which is why, again, it's like, it's just a PC at the end of the day. It's just a very minimalist PC. And I am so happy that they got into that market because, like, it has the same hardware essentially as like my Legion Go over here, right? But it's in a form factor that anybody can just plug up to their TV or monitor, and they can just use it, and it kind of sits in the corner. But again, 90% of the people, I think, like, more like 60, right? More like 60% of the players who are on this console, air quotes, they're not going to touch it. They're not going to touch it after they install it, and it's just going to be a decent way for people to get onto PC without them really doing anything. And you can experience all the same games on integrated graphics that the modern consoles could. So yeah, I believe it was a huge, huge W for Steam on that one. This attempt with Steam Machine seems to be more successful, unlike the disaster that was the first Steam Machines. I actually had a look at the controller that they were optimizing. I think it looks a little blocky, that's for sure, but it has 2 trackpads, like kind of like the first one was trying to have, except for the fact there's 2 of them, and you can kind of like, you can basically play any sort of like PC game with the controller. Which honestly, I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. like they got the controller. I would say the layout is decent. Like, it does look a little bulky, but I mean, when you're trying to like, if you're trying to create a controller for multiple audiences, I think that's the way to go for sure. And again, it kind of had to be a little bit more successful than the last time, because I don't know if anybody remembers the last time, but it basically looked like an Xbox controller with like kind of like a trackpad where the D-pad was supposed to be. It did not look that great. I had one for a little bit, but it was just like, why would I not use an Xbox controller over this if I could? I think also, next gen Steam controller seems like Steam Deck sans display and deck hardware. Yeah, which combining both into a very small package again is gonna be huge. Like, we're not quite at like, I can take this USB and put it into the side of my TV, but I mean, we're pretty close. Like, I have seen tiny Windows computers on like USBs and all that, but Josh, welcome in on TikTok. But we're not quite there yet. I do apologize. I need to take a quick break. So, let me see here. I'll be right back. I do apologize. Reckless objects. I don't think that's quite right. Chicken nugget. Doesn't seem to have the proper logo, so I'm not entirely sure if that's actually them, but maybe a fan account for sure. And Beat Pro, hook him in on TikTok. But yeah, I've been thinking for a little bit. I've been thinking, chat. You know, it's dangerous when I do that. I was wondering what y'all would think if we started up a new contract this week. Because I'm thinking about rotating one of them out, or at least temporarily until I figure out what to do with it. I've been thinking we go back to Lordran. I'm thinking we play Dark Souls 3. What does everyone think about that? Because I don't know. I want to, for sure. I'm just thinking at the same time, it's just like I'm kind of thinking that I'm gonna suck a little bit, but I think I'll be alright. Tegan, yes. Alright, well, I think chat's gonna be happy with that one. It's been on the radar for a little bit. I've just been like, I mean, Night Rain, I've been seeing like Elden Ring as well, and I'm just like, the first time I played Elden Ring, at least on my own, right? I looked at Elden Ring and I just went, I think I stopped at, again, my build wasn't that great, so take this with a grain of salt, right? But, I think I stopped at, I don't know if it was, I think it was Gideon the High Lord. It wasn't the first time that you faced him. It was like the second. I'm not entirely sure. But like, it was in the giant courtyard. He was doing his like, he would transform and then he would go and do his regular attack. And I was just like, I don't know about this one. Because I basically like overcame the last one by like sheer force of will. Brian, welcome in on TikTok. But yeah, I beat him like through sheer force of will at that point. I have no opinion of the Souls games. They were simpler to handle with contracts and 2x challenges. I think so too. Yeah, I feel like some of the other contracts are simple, but just, I mean, from the analytics side, right? I'm looking over back at some of the Souls games. I'm looking back over like Daggerfall even. I'm just kind of going, those games seem to do the best, right? So I've kind of wanted to format the week or the deployment schedule over those sorts of games. Give me 1 second. King Freak, welcome in on TikTok. It's like, just overall, it seems like everyone was enjoying those sorts of games. And again, it's not necessarily the data. That's a reference to a very specific YouTuber, and if you get that, well, there you go. It's also a reference to Call of Duty as well, so if that gives you any idea. But again, I think everyone would enjoy me failing or whatnot at the third Souls game, so I would even attempt. I have not gotten this to work, so this might be a long shot, but if I can get it to work, what's wrong, Philip? That's just their name, if that's what you were referring to. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to with those question marks. But yeah, if I can get it to work, I want to try Bloodborne. Now again, I am not spending $400 on a PS5 or a PS4 or whatever, right? Or more like 700, right? No clue who this YouTuber is. Oh, BT, the Codfather. Again, more an obscure reference than anything else. That one's on me. 1 second. But definitely, I want to try Bloodborne. Because you can emulate it for PC, right? Now, again, I have to buy a copy of Bloodborne. Just to be like, hey, I do own the game, so, you know, because, you know, technically you shouldn't be going on the high seas to get those sorts of things, and I get that, but at the same time, it's like, I want to play Bloodborne, but I want to play it on the PC, so I will buy the game and get those files legitimately, but other than that, it's like, I need to emulate it. Because for whatever reason, Sony and whatnot does not want to use PS4s probably around the $100, $200 mark. You see, but the problem is that I have to get a capture card as well, and then it's like, is it worth it? And the answer is, I don't think so. Like, because again, I'd have to capture it from the PC. The last time I had a capture card, I tried to play Halo 2 off of the 360, and halfway through the stream, actually, I don't even think it was a stream. That one was not a stream. That one was, I think it was like halfway through the recording of the Arbiter. It basically just blacked the screen because it just lost connection. So I'm just kind of sitting there going, I don't really want to deal with a capture card situation. Like, I'd rather deal with like emulation issues than deal with the headache that is Sony and all that, because it's like, if you don't want my money, just say you don't want my money, because it's quite clear that you don't, because Demon Souls came over to Steam along with God of War, Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, but everything that players have been begging for the last 8-9 years. Cool Kid on TikTok, welcome in. But everything that gamers have been begging for Sony to release on Steam, they've essentially just not done. Like, how the hell do you not port Bloodborne over to PC? That is like the license to print money right there. Like, as soon as you put that out there, as soon as you put that out on Steam, you would be making so much money. And people would stop emulating it, because right now you can, though having a capture card would open up having a second gaming PC alongside the console and the main stream PC. That is true, but there's just like so few games that I would actually play on PC. Hello, cool kid. Welcome in. How are you doing today? We're just generally chatting. There's the YouTube, Twitch, and Kick stream currently, so if you see me, like, if you hear me, like, talking about different people, that's mainly what I'm referring to, but my day is going pretty good. I got pretty cheap hamburger, I got some coffee. It's been pretty good. But yeah, having a second, like, it would be a good thing for sure, but I think at the same time, it's like, if I was to do that, I would go to the PlayStation 2, maybe PlayStation era of games, and then I would just play those, right? But that doesn't necessarily lend itself that well to a capture card. Again, emulation is going to be the way to go. Obviously, like, buy the game, right? I have to say that, but just a way to offload streaming portion, have higher FPS in games. I mean, it's definitely true, don't get me wrong, but, like, I feel like the frames for the games have been good, and, like, I don't know. I have a 5070 in there, and I've yet to actually press it. Like, I'm streaming to, like, 4 different places. I've played MechWarrior, and that caused my poor laptop over here to just kind of grind to a halt. But yeah, no, I do see what you're saying with that. I think at the same time, I don't know, like, what, like, I know there's been a list of games that people want me to do for contracts, and I get that. Definitely looking into another Souls game for sure. And Fallout New Vegas for sure. Ant.exe, welcome in on TikTok. Yet, if there is something that stresses that 5070 Ti, because again, right, we're not necessarily playing like Borderlands or anything like that. If we were to play Borderlands, which I'm gonna be real, Borderlands 4, I was very disappointed in, just altogether. It's like the way that the CEO handled that was an absolute disaster. All he had to say was that, hey, we hear your feedback. We hear your feedback. Things aren't going as well as we would have liked. We didn't hit the mark. We're fixing it, right? Like, that's all you had to do. All you had to do. Instead, he goes off about PC players being poor and not having 5090s. I would like to point out that I have a 5070, and this thing quakes at Borderlands 4 because the damn game is just not optimized. Which again, when I say, like, for example, oh, maybe Bethesda should switch over to UE5, I'm not saying that because it would be a great experience. I'm saying that because it's going to be better than like the creation engine currently. Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford should have phone privileges revoked. He should not be on Twitter. He's bad for the company. Like, just in general, he is so bad for the company's stock right now, because if he had shut the hell up, again, if he shut his big fucking mouth, you could at least be like, okay, well, the devs are probably cooking something in the background. Like, it's not a great situation, but at least it will be fixed, right? Kind of like a Cyberpunk situation, but the game's just not good under the hood from what I've seen, as far as, like, writing and everything goes. Like, story's kind of awful when you can even get to that in the first place. And again, I'm just like, I've looked at the games over the last couple of years, and I'm just kind of looking for something better. Hi, Beaky. Hello. Hello there on TikTok. We're just chatting. So there's also the YouTube, Twitch, and Kick chat currently. How you doing today? You're so pretty. I appreciate it. Thank you. Your avatar is pretty too. I like that. But yeah, no, it's like, he is so bad for, the Gearbox CEO is like so bad for their reputation right now. Thank you. Of course. She and Wit in the Dumpster over on TikTok, welcome in. That is quite the username. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. I have some coffee here. I get to stream alongside, I get to stream and chat with all of the lovely people here on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick. It is a lovely day indeed. It is a simple time. But yeah, no, it's like, at the end of the day, if Randy had just kept his mouth shut about the game and just let the devs cook in the background and just basically went, yeah, we know the performance is kind of poor, we're working on that, and just let them cook, that would have been the best thing he could have done for the entire franchise right there. Again, I don't think Borderlands 4 would have been good. I think it just would have been, I think it would have been a better point altogether. It looks like from the updates for Diesel Knight that he's getting a lot of the funding that he needs as well. Switching to a different subject, I saw somebody join in on TikTok. Welcome in. I didn't catch your name, unfortunately. Which game are you talking about? Borderlands 4. Yeah, it just came up in the long, endless slew of ideas that just I'm rambling about today a little bit. Just kind of going back and forth with chat right now. And again, here's Black Ops 7 available on the Steam page. Nope, nope, nope. I don't want to play that. Haven't heard of that game before. So Borderlands is this like cartoony style game where like you've kind of went through this kind of apocalyptic situation. Everything's kind of gone downhill a little bit. By a little bit, I mean a lot. And you have these particular vaults that were from the golden age of humanity. And you have a bunch of these companies sending these so-called vault hunters, and they go and try to secure that technology for the betterment of humanity. Unfortunately, a lot of these CEOs are a little bit corrupt and tend to be the antagonists of the game. And along with the cartoony and funny, like, looking style graphics, usually have the funny wit of the writers in the earlier games, and you also usually have some of the hilarious different guns that you get throughout the game as well. Unfortunately, they haven't quite hit the mark recently. Raven on TikTok, welcome in. But yeah, a really decent time. A really good time for a lot of the... I don't know. No, I don't want the trailer for that. I just wanted to have a look and see what was on Steam right now, because there's a lot of different games that I've... Like, I just kind of want to see what's up right now. Tales from Borderlands is still my favorite game, Borderlands game to date, which wasn't made by Gearbox, but Telltale. Yeah, that tells you a lot, huh? Didn't Telltale Games work on The Last of Us? Do you watch anime? I do. It's been a while since I've watched any, but when I do, it's usually... See, the last one that I watched was, let's see. I watched the entirety of the King of Braves Galgagar series, which is like an obscure mecha anime, right? Don't get me wrong. Very obscure. That was my first, like, introduction to anime, which was a huge one for sure. I think the last one I watched was it was this like RPG like story. It was like this Monster Hunter style anime. It was this one where this one character gets this like mask artifact. He's like a really low level like rank hunter or whatever. I forget it off the top of my head. I think it only had like one season. Agent over on TikTok, welcome in. Hello, gamer. Welcome in. How are we doing today? Yeah, a lot of the games that are recommended right now seem to be... The Last of Us is Naughty Dog. Telltale made the recent Dispatch game after the studio got resurrected from bankruptcy years ago. That is insane. Like, I'm glad they at least came back from the grave. Give me 1 second. I do apologize. I've at least found a simple mute button for that. I'm doing pretty good, Agent. How about yourself? Is it a high-rise invasion? Not that I'm aware. I don't think it was. It was... I'm gonna have to go back and see on my Crunchyroll account if it's still active. It's been a little bit since I logged into that one. But yeah, Oh, Blair, welcome in. No Fly as well. Welcome in. I'm getting a lot of ads for this one. One of the recommended games on Steam right now is Blue Protocol Star Resident. I may actually... Okay, no, I may actually play this one just because, like, I feel like I don't necessarily get into MMOs all that much, or Hunter x Hunter. I think it might be. Pinkie Pie over on TikTok, welcome in. I have a game request for you. Thank you for coming in, Happy Key. Thank you. What would be that game request, Pinkie Pie? I'm wondering. Hollow Knight, Silk Song. You know, honestly, I could see myself playing that. I definitely think we could take that contract at some point very, very soon. Again, my only thing with that is I will definitely kind of suck at it at first, but if we can get... But I will definitely give it a shot. I'm after looking at Blue Protocol Star Residence, and it seems like there is, like, mechs in the game at least. Like, is that just, like, for that particular cutscene, or is it, like... Is it for that particular cutscene, or is that, like, actually in the game? Because if you have mechs, then I am definitely interested. Watch the trailer. The trailer for Blue Protocol or Hollow Knight? Because I'll definitely have a look at the Hollow Knight trailer for sure. For sure. Give me 1 second. I do apologize. Look at the trailer for Hollow Knight. Yeah, we can have a look at that. Let me see if I can get... that up. Cool Kid, welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, let me see if I can get that trailer up real quick and we can react to that. Hollow Knight. Silk Song trailer. I love how one of the results was... I love how one of the results was for the... what was that one boss from D&D? Tiamat, I think it was. It's like, no, I don't think we're fighting a four-headed dragon for this. Okay, Team Cherry. All right, so this will mess up a little bit. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Hold on. Like, I'm switching it over on YouTube. There I am. This one isn't transparent, so let me fix that real quick. You're getting a little bit behind the scenes. There we go. All right, so that's fixed for YouTube, and now, yay, I'm in the void a little bit. Okay, let me switch. Let me see if I can switch this over a little bit for TikTok, and then we'll react to this trailer real quick. More or less, fortunately for TikTok, I have to, like, have this here because every time I try to like do the transparency thing for TikTok, it doesn't necessarily work all that well. Why can I not get Streamlabs up? What is happening? There we go. Okay, that one's good. Show Chrome. Okay, there we go. Oh, and now I have disappeared. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, there I am. Sorry about that. Let us go ahead and I'm going to move that MFD into this corner. Multifunction display for everyone who doesn't. Your live stream is not eligible for recommended and restricted because it contains unoriginal or reproduced content. No, I'm just gonna appeal that. No. Like, again, I realize I'm reacting to somebody else's content and I will give them the proper respect as per usual, but I don't know. Let's see here. Team Cherry. This art style, just off the bat, is so gorgeous. Like, look at how adorable he is. Or they are. I don't know. The skirt's the only thing I have to go off of here, really. Send the peak. I love how, like, whimsical this is. That's a new word that I've come across more recently that's kind of surfaced. But this is so cool. Wait. How big is this game? Deep Docks, Hunter's Marsh, The Morrow, Shellwood. That is crazy. I don't know about the platforming, chat. I don't know about all that. I have to get a feel for it for sure. Intricate, you are in violation of the rules of engagement and will promptly receive the ban hammer. No, get out of here. Love from TikTok recommend. It really seems to be like stylized. A vast, handcrafted world. This is absolutely adorable. Battle over 200 creatures. Do you like it? I love it. Vanquished over 40 legendary bosses. This is so cool. Like, I've had a few people talk about it. Just a little smack there just sold that entire bit. Oh, this is so cool. September 4th. This is by far one of the best trailers I've seen in a while. Again, Happy Key, welcome back. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share that in the chat. Like, again, I realize it's a trailer, but again, I want to give it the proper respects. Again, can I appeal that? Like, okay, I think I appealed that. I think I appealed that, which is again, it's like, I get it. Like I don't necessarily own the copyright to that. And Daft, welcome in. Like, I get it that I don't own the copyright, but at the same time, it's like, it's a trailer, right? And I don't think they would be too, I don't think Team Cherry's too particular about that. Let me see if I can find that old backgrounds, or if I'm gonna have to select another one. There's the test pattern. I think it's this one. Nope, that's the green screen, which would be useful if we were making videos and whatnot, but that's not the case right now. Okay, so we're just gonna do that. Okay, and then we're gonna do that as well, so that way it's like full screen and fit to screen, fill screen, there we go. And we're just gonna come back over here, perfect. All right, so it's not that terrible. Trying to get that set up at least. Oh, I'm also gonna share that in the YouTube chat as well, so give me just a second. And then now I can kind of get over here. The 2D side scroller I absolutely adore is Spitfire. Got a few tiers from me too. Yeah, I may have to look into some of these because, again, I've been looking for games that are just like decent, you know, like I don't know if decent is the word, but just like I feel like a lot of the games anymore that I've played are just like, they've been disappointing. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like, I think some of the games that we've seen recently are just disappointing. And even some of the ones that are like, decent as of recent, like Fallout 4, for example, have been retroactively just messed up because of like, you have the anniversary update for Fallout 4, right? Which just messed up everything. But I will definitely look into Silksong. Matter of fact, I think I might have had it on the wish list. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, most of my, if you wonder what most of my wish list is, it's either space stuff, some oddball game like The World is Drowning over here. It's like a rogue-like. I've been getting into those a little bit recently. Kingsmaker, pool rooms, because I love the back rooms, and I'll probably do like a one-shot contract for the back rooms just in general. But level 37 is one of my favorites from the back rooms, just straight up. Like level 37, the pool rooms was one of my absolute favorites. Like, I love swimming and all that. Like, I just love the feel of water in general. I don't know if that's a weird thing to kind of say, but yeah. Let's see. Chrono Trigger's under here as well. I haven't gotten it yet, but it's a good game. Space Engineers. They're getting a water update soon. That ought to be fun. Like, so the planets will actually have like water for them as well. Iron Rebellion, which I am very much looking forward to. Almost like it's almost the same vein as like Engines of Destruction. I know Philip was wanting that as well. So it's either like mech, mech horror, or even a few oddballs here and there. But other than that, like, it's pretty on par for me. And also there's Shadow Rush at the very end of that entire list. But yeah, I definitely loved that. I definitely loved that Silk Song trailer. I'm definitely going to be playing that at some point. Not sure how many returned from the old Telltale. My buddy who was there at the end is now a cinematic animator for BioWare. Is BioWare even still a thing? Because I thought they got shut down after... I don't think it was Anthem, even though Anthem definitely tarnished their reputation to high heaven. Like, I was looking forward to that game. Like, just straight up. Like, I was so upset that they were marketing that as like, this is the Destiny killer. I'm like, no, stop. No, that's not, no, stop it. Stop it. You are a... Again, if a game tells you that is a killer of anything, then, like, if the devs are saying that, right? Run. It's not a good game. It's just a catastrophe waiting to happen. I was upset when they marketed like that because I saw the game completely differently. I was like, this is a RPG that uses power armor for people to go around and bash creatures, or just like bash enemy factions and whatnot. BioWare Austin lives and is the last of the BioWare branded studios. Damn, they're hanging out. They're still kicking. But yeah, like, again, all they had to do was be like, hey, we're our own thing. Like, yep, that game exists. That little game called Destiny is there, and it's slowly dying. And to this day, I think it's still dying. Dragon Age the Veilguard released last year to mixed reception. Oh god, I forgot about that. Okay, as somebody who is trans, right? I'm gonna say this, right? Please stop forcing representation into the game where it does not belong. We do not want that. The modern audience does not exist. Please make the game good for people who actually want that sort of thing. Again, if you want to have a character in the corner who's like, if you want to have a character over in the corner who's like if you're going through and you just happen to go through a battle or something and like they get their armor all torn up and they're just like, I thought you were a girl. And then the other one just turns around, that person turns around and goes, I mean, I'm transitioning. If that's the way you want to play that, that's completely cool. Right? If you want to have a subtle nod wink to a character like that, you can do that. Fallout New Vegas did that for Vanessa, because, or I think I said her name right. Veronica, that was it. They did that for Veronica. She's not trans, gay, but still same lesbian, right? again, you don't realize she's lesbian until you've talked to her for like 15 minutes. Again, only 15 minutes because she opens up to you about that because you asked. Like, you actually asked her about that because you went down this rabbit hole of, oh, you're a part of the Brotherhood. You're a scribe. Like, what was that like when one of your friends left the bunker? And she's like, well, she was a good friend of mine. Like, we were definitely like lovers, that sort of thing. And she was a well-written character. Like, I gave her that brief summary, but again, you had to go down that rabbit hole to get to that point. You had to earn that piece of dialogue, right? They're not just going to tell you in a cutscene. It's not like Fallout New Vegas came out here and was like, it's like, yeah, Veronica's gay and she represents all the gays. It's like, no. No, she represents them, ironically, she represents them because she just is a person who happens to be gay. Not the other way around, right? New Mass Effect game was announced many years ago. Who knows what will come of that? I don't know. After Andromeda, I'm just like, I don't know. And I've tried to play that on controller as well for like PC. It just doesn't work. I was so upset by that because I was like, I wanted to spend like $2 and get the entire Mass Effect series on Steam. That was a great option. Really want well-written characters and not just token characters. Yeah, like I was saying, like, Veronica was a really good, like, well-written character. Like, altogether, she was just a well-written character. And it's like, I don't even, like, here's the thing, right? Unless the story specifically calls for that kind of character, I don't even necessarily want that representation in the game. Because again, it just detracts from the story you're trying to tell. Again, you're trying to score bounty points on the internet, and it's like, I don't care about that, right? It's like when I sit down to play a video game, right? I'm not necessarily role-playing myself in a video game. I'm technically role-playing somebody else, right? Because again, when I sit down to stream, I'm not necessarily the same person. Like, yes, there's a lot of honesty, there's a lot of openness, but like, I'm a merc here on VTube. Corrupted, here on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Corrupted Moon, welcome in. Didn't see the other person's name. I do apologize. Bash, sorry guys, I'll be off tonight. That's okay, Bash. I appreciate you coming in. You have been wonderful. You have yourself a really good night. But again, right, when I come on here and I stream, like, there's a little bit of that, a little bit of roleplay there, right? Like, as a merc. Same thing goes for video games, right? I'm not role-playing myself as, like, an IT. Or, like, me directly, right? I'm role-playing as a merc. Like, that's usually the way that I roleplay video games. And sometimes, like, that's a little bit stark or contrast to the games I play. So that vibe doesn't always fit. In the same way, if you have a character like that who's like token or whatever, call me hamster, welcome in on TikTok. It just doesn't fit, right? Because again, I do not want you to sacrifice the integrity of the game just for brownie points on the internet. Caesar, welcome in. Whether that's like trans or any other situation. By the way, things bugging me. Was that wrench next to your name? Oh, he's just Philip here is one of the squad leaders. He's just a moderator for the channel. Yeah, I figured I'd just have one for now, and then that way we can kind of keep the chat like a little moderated. Spaggy on TikTok, welcome in. Yeah, Philip's just a moderator. But yeah, it's like I think a lot of games, I think a lot of games have actually kind of figured that out a little bit. That their overall scope and like actual meaning of the game is worth a lot more than the actual game itself, or worth more than any other thing, right? Because you have like let's see here, Battlefield, really good example. Somi the homie, welcome in on TikTok. Because you'll have a game like Battlefield here, whose like image is like really like honed in, right? It's just all out warfare. Grab the homies. It's time for a battle, right? And that's it. There's nothing else. You just have the scope of the game and that's it, right? But then you have like Dragon Age the Veilguard, which again, completely different game. But the scope of the game, the message, the meaning behind the game just kind of kills the overall game, the overall vibe of that. So I don't know. I think I'm beating a dead horse at this point, so I've just been going off ranting and raving about that sort of thing, and honestly, it is something that I would do. LeBron fan, welcome in on TikTok. Mega Break actually looks kind of cool, but again, I think with it being like multiplayer, it just kind of that's the thing with the newer like Titanfall games that I've seen, like Shadow Rush or Diesel Knights is gonna be a little bit of an exception, but I just, again, like multiplayer games have never been my bread and butter. Like I did play a little bit of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 back in the day. That was mostly because I loved the DSR and SVU to some extent. So, like, if I could have an actual rifle from any of those games, I would definitely want the DSR 50. Like, I don't know what it is about that particular rifle, but it just the silhouette of that thing is just so good. And again, it makes me kind of sad about some of the newer games because it's like I never felt that way about any of the other rifles after that. Like after that point, it never really spoke to me the same. Let's see here. I'm just looking through my Steam library a little bit. What are some of the other games that you would want to see, chat? Because I'm kind of like putting together some of the games I'd want to do for contracts, but other than that, I don't entirely know what other games I'd want to play. Let me take a quick break. I'll be right back. Nirvana, welcome in on TikTok. I do apologize. I've just taken a quick break. Let's see here. Nope, I didn't want that. I was just trying to see what was being featured on here. How are you doing today, Nirvana? Over on TikTok. I have some coffee at least, and I'm doing pretty well. I want to have a look at this. I want to have a look at some of these Steam Frame. I'd heard about this particular headset. Let's have a look at it. Designed for comfort, easy to use. The Steam Frame headset is light and compact with the... Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so... this thing actually looks kind of decent. High quality streaming first experience. So they're planning on using their own, like, USB streaming for the VR headset. That's an interesting idea. I wonder how it's gonna... I wonder how that's gonna turn out for VR experience, because the last time Steam Frame will likely be replacing the Quest 2 I have in a few years. You know, honestly, I think it could even outperform the Quest 3, only because, right, it's Steam OS, essentially. So, like, Steam OS has kind of made this a lot better of an experience than even like the Quest 3. So when it comes to ease of use, I think Steam OS is going to be a lot better in that particular regard. You have your magnetic thumbsticks, so again, you're not really going to have that issue with the... you're not really going to have any of the stick drift issues. So Steam OS, it runs Steam OS, quick suspend and resume, cloud saves. That's gonna be pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's gonna be really cool. User experiences are now available in VR, just like any SteamOS device. Install your own apps, open a browser, do what you want. It's your PC. That's pretty based. And again, I love how they're kind of coming after Apple in that one way, where, because it looks like an Apple headset a little bit, right? But you can just play anything the fuck you want on it, as long as it can run on Steam. 2D, 3D experience. The Quest 3 is surprisingly only 2 years old. I actually have it. It's a good headset. I just think it's a little pricey for... again, it's like, it's a 4K experience, and it's like, well, yes, but also it's... I feel like the Quest, at least like the proper experience for the Quest, is just... it's a good experience. And don't get me wrong, the pass-through vision is almost like... it's not quite one-to-one, but it's like that little extra field of view and color is just... color pass-through is pretty damn good. Like, I have to say, altogether, like, really good. Steam Frame verified for standalone games. Just like the Steam Deck and Steam Machine, Steam Frame will have a verified program that helps you see what library, VR and non-VR, work standalone. Yes, there's a development kit. Not necessarily useful for me, but I really love how they came out with like 3 different things at the same time and just went. They just went. The VR market gets destroyed, the PC market gets destroyed, and then the controller market gets an upgrade. Demos, welcome in on TikTok. Like, altogether, yeah, Steam was quietly just cooking in the background and went, you think we have a monopoly? That's cute. That's fucking cute. By the way, we're just going to decimate the market with VR headset, a small gaming PC that's probably going to backstab Xbox completely and then make that market their own. I only use the Quest 2 for virtual desktop, the only way to play VR tiles with an ARC GPU. I have wanted to play, I've wanted to play like PC VR for a while. I need to get the desktop app because I just, there is no way you're going to catch me without, there's no way you're going to catch me playing PC VR with a cable like that attached to the headset. And the only reason is because I will trip over that cable and I will damage my headset by accident. It's not necessarily clumsy. It's just like you have that sort of cable and it's just bound to happen at some point. Like, unless you can attach it to like the ceiling or something, even at that, it's like, it just, wireless is a better option if you can do that. But I think with the ARC GPU, it doesn't necessarily have proper support for it. So I definitely understand that. Let's see here. I want to have a look at the Steam machine specs. Steam library in more places. Core features that define the Steam machine. Steam OS is an optimized for gaming, fast suspend, resume, cloud saves, and that's just a start. Small form factor. I found virtual desktop works excellently wireless in the same room. I mean, as long as you don't leave the room, you should be fine, right? Usually not the type of, I don't have Discord. Don't have Discord. Also, you're spamming. Out, out, out. Put it under your TV. Set it on your desk. Hide it under a banana. It's a powerful PC. It's powerful PC gaming in roughly a 6-inch cube. Cool and quiet. The Steam machine keeps cool and runs whisper quiet, even running the most demanding games. I'm just looking over my laptop and I'm just kind of going, more kickbots. There's not a day that goes by that there aren't more kickbots, and unfortunately that's going to show up on the screen, I think, but oh well. I/O for days. Ready for all of your peripherals and monitors that you can throw, but like, don't actually throw things at it. 1 gigabit Ethernet DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2, 1 USB-C, and 4 USB-A ports. That's a decent setup for a mini PC. Like, to be fair, my laptop, I think altogether I spent like $700 on this one. Is 2 USB 3 ports. Black was the word Discord on Kick. I'm thinking so. I'm definitely thinking so at this point. Because, like, everyone's like, make a Discord server, make a Discord server. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to deal with their shenanigans at this point. Like, with the amount of bots between Twitch and Kick, I'm just like, I just don't even want to bother at this point. Like, it's like, oh, well, if you become an affiliate, and I'm like, at this point, like 90% of the people who are in the chat, like there may be lurkers, of course, but like, other than that, it's like, I don't necessarily think like I will ever, like, it will be a while before I even get affiliated on there. And even if I do, it's like, I don't know. It's so bad on there. CPU and GPU, 4K gaming at 30 frames per second with FSR, thanks to discrete semi-custom AMD desktop glass CPU and GPU. So essentially, integrated graphics, is that what we're going for here? Storage available. Available storage in 2 storage sizes, 512 gigabytes and 2 terabytes. Both come with expandable storage via micro SD. This thing is rather small. It's basically the size of like is basically a fishbowl size. Would start my stream hobby. I'd also not want to create a Discord server, even though I'm in several. For me, it's just like, oh, and I want to mention, I did see your posts on the, I did see your posts on the community tab. There are no notifications whatsoever for that, so I'm going to have to start checking that a little bit more regularly. Because I was like, I was expecting like notifications, like if anybody posted anything, so I mean, I kind of expected that, but it didn't make any sort of sense. And then I saw the post, so I'm like, well, that's bad. It's been like 2 weeks since you posted that, so my apologies. So this is Wi-Fi 6 Echo plus Bluetooth 5.3. No giant power brick. That's pretty cool. This doesn't seem to necessarily have... This doesn't necessarily seem to have specs, which I'm a little disappointed. Come on, I want to nerd out over here. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to, I am definitely going to have to send, Discord to the blacklisted words. Let's see here. Let's see, Steam machine specs. Yeah, because I'm like... Okay, so It won't be out for another year, but those who want to target Steam machines, Gamebox at the very minimum recommended specs for their game, here it is. So the CPU is a semi-custom AMD Zen 4 6C 12T up to 4.8 gigahertz. That's actually not terrible. The GPU is a semi-custom AMD RDNA A3, has 8 gigabytes of DDR6 GDDR6 VRAM. I was a little confused there for a second. Honestly, this seems pretty cool. Less than an RX 7600 in max sustain clocking. Okay, so essentially this is Steam Deck specs. The only notifications I get on community posts when the YouTube clanker overlord deem it necessary to show them on the homepage. Yep, pretty much. I'm sad that the VRAM is not 12 plus gigabit. RAM is only 16 gigabytes and not 24, according to this Reddit post. Oof. Yeah, only having 16 gigs of RAM is gonna be interesting. I don't think a lot of players are going to have games that are like, again, this is going to be playing like what, Battlefield at medium specs, so I think this would be fine. Like, again, it's just like basic stuff, right? I don't think it's like actually again, I don't actually think it's going to be like, from what I can tell, it's basically a little less powerful than a PS5 from hardware perspective. Real world results will probably skew even more in the PS5's favor, considering the Steam machine will be running generic PC ports rather than the ports tailor-made for the hardware like the PS5's case. Like, yes, it might be a little less powerful, but honestly, the PS5 is also $700. The new one's going to be closer to $1,000. Like, again, the Steam machine, according to these specs, is probably going to be, if I had to guess, $300, maybe $400. And again, for a PC, especially with like Steam branding, CEO designer over on TikTok, welcome in. Catman, welcome in as well. It'd be nice for more RAM and more VRAM on the Steam machine, but the deck only had 4 gigabytes, so it'd be fine as a couch PC. Oh, absolutely. And again, these specs are pretty much that of a normal, like, mini PC, and I believe the price is going to be pretty much the same, right? I think the storage is the only thing that's going to like push the price up a little bit into the $500-$600 range for the 2 terabyte option. But at the end of the day, right, it's a mini PC. So I think the way they're like saving on price and like the video graphics side of things is that it's a custom AMD project, essentially. So this thing's going to be max $400 for the basic one, and then I would say the 2 terabyte option's probably going to push it, again, storage wise, it's going to push that more towards 500, which honestly, for a basic PC that you can plug into your computer as like a console hybrid, I would say the Steam Machine has a really big case here because, again, you have to think about its competition as well. Because even if it does push it to like $500, like competing with the Steam Deck, this is going up against two consoles that are like the next generation of consoles, which is going to be the PS6 and the Xbox, which the Xbox, I know for certain, is going to be about $1,200. But it's like, oh, it's a PC console hybrid. It doesn't matter. Everybody's going to look at the Steam Machine and go, this is a console PC hybrid. It's a small box I throw next to my computer, or next to my TV, right? That I could put, like, where the console was, and I can play Call of Duty or, more aptly, Battlefield, Arc Raiders, and do just fine in general, right? I don't see where having specs like that of a PS5 would matter in that particular case. But yeah, a little bit more RAM and VRAM would have been cool. But I think, again, for a PC of this size, like, what was it? 8 gigs of VRAM, 8 gigs of VRAM, and I think it was 16 gigs of DDR5. This is actually a pretty good option altogether. One USB 3.2, two USB 3s, and then two USB 2s. That's a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. In this day and age, right? In this day and age, you need USB 3. Like, just... I think the gold standard at this point is USB 3. Like, I don't know why they would have cheaped out on those USB ports. Like, I get it. No Thunderbolt, which is kind of... Honestly, I'm a little surprised that they didn't throw in a Thunderbolt port, because you could just power... You could probably power the PC just off of that in the first place, right? It doesn't have that much... it doesn't take all that much power to power one of these mini PCs. So you could just be like, I'm going to plug in this USB-C cable. Look at that. It powers the damn thing. Like, this thing takes a maximum of, like, I think 12 watts or something like that. Soup, welcome in on TikTok. But yeah, no, I think this thing is... I think this thing's pretty cool. I like the fact that you can upgrade the storage via the micro SD slot. I think that's a really cool upgrade as well over, like, say, the Steam Deck, which doesn't really have much expansion space on that. But other than that, yeah, like, I think Steam's definitely going to have, I think it's definitely going to have its cake in this current market, because right now you have so many other competitors who are just like, you have the Rift, which is just not... Like, I think the Quest is selling well, and I think it's doing well in general, but the library is mostly on Steam, so why not get a Steam device? You have you have a Steam machine that's going to be cheaper and just like well built in the first place compared to the price and the performance of the PS6, the Xbox, the Switch 2 is just between that $700 price tag, plus like $90 games. I think Steam just waiting and just dropping these all at once to sabotage the gaming market that's just burnt out and dead at this point was a huge W. Huge W at this point. And also, I love the fact that they made their own, like, little controller as well. This thing is so cute, and honestly, I don't know. I think it's kind of grown on me a little bit. Like, it looks like a functional controller. Also, it has the paddles in the back as well, so... And it has just USB-C. Like, there's no battery ports, there's no nothing. It's just, like, you charge it via USB-C, which I like. I'm wondering what the charging situation is going to be like for that thing, though. Does it have, like, a charger for it? Let's see. Oh, it has a controller puck. That is... So it just plugs into a little puck and then just drops straight onto the controller. That is... And it magnetically connects to... That is cool. I like that. Yeah, no, I think this thing is looking good altogether. Yeah, I definitely think that it's going to absolutely... Like, I think it's going to be a little weird for the first-time adopters, but I think, like, after a couple of months or so of using this thing, it would actually be pretty good. I saw somebody join on the TikTok side. Welcome in. I mostly saw a bunch of hieroglyphics, so I don't know if TikTok's spelling your name correctly. I think that is going to be it for this particular stream. I do appreciate everybody coming by. Let's see, we had Philip and Bash and Din over on YouTube side of things. We also had Specs. Thank you for coming by, and I appreciate your compliment on my model. I really do. We had Nirvana over on TikTok. Habiki, Pinkie Pie, thank you for the recommendation on the Hollow Knight, by the way. Although it looks like TikTok is angry at me because I dared to react to a TikTok. Oof. Anyways, thank you all for joining me today, and I appreciate every single one of you. This has been Call Sign Onica, signing out.